Ladies and gentlemen, we're here live at EternalCon with Jim Shooter. Question, Jim. You've been doing, or should I say working on comics for how many years?
54.
54 years. What would be your advice for people that want to create and produce and be a part of the business of comic?
All right, it's a lot different now than it used to be. I mean, I got my job just sending in samples to DC Comics. They don't even look at the samples now. The only way you can really get started is to either publish yourself and start to be successful, and then they want to talk to you, or publish it online, give it away for free, and then if you go to Marvel and you say, my little strip here got 500,000 page views last month, then they want to talk to you, you know?
Wait a minute, so you basically have to work for free and give your stuff away for free?
Well, if you think of it as making samples. I mean, basically what you're doing is you have to, they don't look for, quality stuff anymore. They don't do that. They're afraid to look at people's samples because they're always afraid that a year later the guy will sue them because they have a similar idea or something like that. So they're really afraid of lawsuits. So what you have to do is you have to kind of become a little bit of a success on your own by self-publishing, or else become, get what they call exposure. Get a lot of people who are interested in your work, and then that's what they're interested in. That'll make them interested in looking at your stuff if you have exposure or if you have success. I'll give you an example. There was a guy, I think his name was Jeff Smith, and he came up with this character called Bone years ago. Nobody was interested. Nobody would look, you know? And so he just did it on himself. He published it by himself, and it was good. And so it starts to take off, and it starts to get better and better. And before you know it, he has an animation deal and a toy deal. And then all the people came back to him, Marvel, DC, and everybody, and said, hey, we were interested. And he said, I don't need you anymore. Wow. But it's the same kind of thing. I mean, like, even in regular publishing, the woman who wrote that 50 Shades of Grey, she gave it away free online, started getting a lot of page views, and then all the publishers were interested. So that's how it works these days.
It's almost, well, no, it is the way of the music business, the same deal. Now, because you've been in the game, are you still producing comic books? Okay, so if you've been in the game and still in the game, how does that affect someone like you right now, with as far as content creation?
Well, I think if I were to like pitch something to Marvel or DC, at least they'd listen to me because of my history, and they might like it, and we might do it. Occasionally, I get a call from somebody, like I've done stuff with Dark Horse and whatever. And Mike Richardson and I are always talking about things we might do. We haven't gotten around to anything lately, but
can you say some of the titles that you've worked on?
Some of the titles that I've worked on? Well, DC, Superman, Batman, all the Superman family, Jimmy Olsen, World's Finest, Supergirl, all the super titles. I also did some, Batman appeared in World's Finest. I wrote a little bit of Wonder Woman when I did the Superman crossover book. I did a little bit of The Flash, a lot of those titles. At Marvel, almost everything, because I was the editor-in-chief. And whenever we needed a story and I couldn't find anybody, I had to write it myself. So I did a lot of stuff at Marvel, all the major characters.
So wait a minute, what motivates you now? I mean, you've been there, you've done that. What gets you going?
It's fun. It's creative. I mean, and there's just kind of nothing like doing creative work. I mean, I think most people bring some creativity to any job, and that's great. But if you got a job that's where it's you get to fantasize and make things up and put them on paper, I can't think of anything better. It's a good time, and besides, sometimes they pay you.
So where can someone follow or get in contact with you? Is there a website or social media?
Well, I haven't worked on it for quite a while, but I have a blog. It's jimshooter.com. Can't forget that, jimshooter.com. And the blog is still up. And the person who used to administrate the technical part of the blog, if people write into the blog, she forwards the letters to me. I also do a lot of work with a company called Illustrated Media, and they're online too, Illustrated Media. And if you write to them, they'll send it to me. That's it. I'm not real, skillful at Facebook and all that other stuff, but I'm pretty easy to find online. If you look online, you'll find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Good luck with it.